Hi there, it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Today I have some cards to share with you using the Bird Banter stamp set. Now this stamp set is retiring from the Stampin' Up catalog and will only be available today. That's right, one more day. May 31st, 2018 is the last day to order this stamp set. So if you like the cards, if you like the stamp set, make sure that you order it right now today, and you can do that at juliedavison.com/shop. We'll get you to my online store to get this Bird Banter stamp set. The cards that I made using that stamp set were featured for my Stamp of the Month Club card kit for May, and it included 3 different designs. So people who participate get the stamp set, they get a card kit to make 2 of each card. The card I want to show you today is the gatefold shutter card, and even though this card features the Bird Banter stamp set, you can use this template, this design of a card with any stamp set that you have. So I'm sure I'll be making more gatefold shutter cards to share with you using some new catalog stamp sets. But before Bird Banter makes its grand exit, I wanted to show you how to make this card here. Before we get started, I want to show you the measurements for the pieces that we're using. So the front of the card has Whisper White and Basic Black layers, and those are 3 inches by 4 1/4 and 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Then the inside, we have our Tangerine Tango piece of cardstock. This is 3 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And you need 2 pieces for the little shutter closer. So each piece is 4 inches by 3 inches, and I scored it at the top. This is along the 3-inch side at 3/8 of an inch. A little bit less than 1/2 inch. I did that on both of them. And then the card base itself is a 1/2 sheet of cardstock. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I scored it with the gatefold measurements at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8 inches. So that way the meet in the middle. This would be a traditional gatefold card. So the gatefold shutter card, we'll start with that gatefold base, and then we'll add the other components. But before we do all the inside pieces, I wanted to give you a little stamping tip. On my card, I did a row of 3 birds, and to get them to space and line up evenly, I started by stamping on each end. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. And then after I stamp the ones on the ends, then I can see through and center the bird to go in the middle. And then I get my birds pretty evenly spaced out. So that's just a tip for stamping 3 images in a row, is to start on either end and then stamp in the middle last. So for the front of the card, all I did was color in those birds, and then I stamped and colored in the little party hat, and I added the banner over a scallop circle to decorate the front. Okay, now for the inside, we have, so for the flat piece, as I said, it is 4 inches by 3 inches, and I scored the top at 3/8 of an inch. And then to make the cut at an angle, I measured with the ruler. Let me show you what I did. I measured the halfway point, so it's 3 inches across. I measured halfway, which is 1.5 inches, and then I measured the other direction, and I'm going to go halfway here. So half of 4 inches is 2, so I'm lining it up with the mark over here, and then I'm going to put a mark at the 2-inch, and then we're going to cut from that mark down to the corner. Okay, so that is my flap. So I can use one as a template, and then I can cut the other piece to match. So I can just line that up, and you can either trace it or cut it with the scissors or a paper trimmer if you want to get a nice straight cut. Okay, and then with the pencil mark, you can just use the eraser and erase that pencil mark. Okay, so I've got these all set to go. I put a little bit of tear and tape at the top, and you're going to do that with both of them. So both flaps have the cut out, and that is going to form the shutter part of the card. Now we have our Tangerine Tango cardstock. And this again is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. This is going to be the middle part here. Now you can also make your card open vertically and have your image be this way, but I wanted to put the words on the inside here, so I changed mine to be a horizontal card. It says, "A little birdie told me it was your birthday," and then on the inside it says, "Obviously it wasn't an early bird. Happy birthday." I always need a belated birthday card, so I thought this worked really well. And to me, it looks like this bird is sleeping. So obviously it wasn't an early bird. He slept through your birthday. Okay, so we have on the inside our 3.5 by 5.5 inch piece of Tangerine Tango cardstock. And we need to make a circle to show the image underneath. So in order to line up where the circle is going to be, I'm going to use a punch out. So this is a 2-inch circle, and I'm going to use one of the flaps here, and I want there to be enough room for me to put adhesive, a row of Stampin' Dimensionals here, and then I'm going to line up my circle and just sort of eyeball it. So it's going to be in the center of this flap and then centered this way. So I'm just going to line it up where I think it should go and then trace it with a circle. This is a lot easier than trying to guess with a punch. So I'm going to put the circle exactly where I want it to go, and then I'm going to use the circle punch, the 2-inch circle punch, and punch the hole. You could also use circle framelits or a different shape if you want. And then you can erase the pencil mark or just flip it over and use the other side. So here I've gone ahead and I've stamped the piece. I've also applied the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I colored a bird for the inside of the card. So this is the same size. This is a 2-inch circle, and we're going to go ahead and put the card together. So the first thing to do is to apply the Tangerine Tango cardstock to the inside of the card base. So I'm just going to center it in the space. And I have that on Stampin' Dimensional so that there's plenty of room for the flaps to move in and out. The next step is to adhere the circle down. So I'm just going to place it right in the center and then push it down so that it is adhered to the inside of the lemon lime twist card base. Okay, now we have our 2 shutters, our little flaps. I'm just folding on the score line. We're going to do one at a time. So I'm going to peel off the lining on the tear and tape, and then I'm going to slide it into underneath the Tangerine Tango cardstock. So I'm going to line up this cardstock so that that circle is centered, and I'm putting it all the way up to the fold line on the lemon lime twist. Can you see that? All the way to the folds, and then I'm just going to close the card, and that tear and tape will stick to the side of the card. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. When you put in the other shutter, you need to make sure that it is going completely underneath the other flap or completely on top of the other flap. It doesn't matter which one. It can go either on top or underneath. You just want to make sure that you're not doing a cross. It needs to be all one way or all the other. Okay, so if you have one under and one over, the card won't close correctly. So we're just going to go all underneath, and you're going to make sure that none of these little corners are peeking out, that it's centered, and line it up against the fold again, and then close the card. And that's it. Isn't that easy? I hope that you like this gatefold shutter card and that you'll give it a try at home with my measurements. Here's the finished card again with the cute little front flap on it, and you can decorate that any way that you want. Okay, so don't forget, Bird Banter stamp set, it ends today, May 31st, 2018. If you want to order, make sure to go to my online store at juliedavison.com/shop to get the Bird Banter stamp set. If you're interested in learning more about my Stamp of the Month Club, you can visit juliedavison.com/club. clubs. And if you liked my video, please like and share and comment to let me know. I hope you're having a great day. Happy stamping!